Hi everybody, you're now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
Thanks for tuning in. This is a Sweet Cyclist. Today we're going to be reviewing the Lupine SL AF4 bicycle headlight. So here we have the Alpine SL AF4 in its original packaging. This is a light we're really excited to get our hands on. You might be more familiar with Lupine due to their mountain bike lights. They're pretty well known for their amazing build quality and high output. The SL is one of their first and only road bike lights. It was originally conceived as an e-bike light, but was later adapted to be to accept an external battery pack. They're a German-based company, so you have the STVZO certification for this road bike light as well. Really nice packaging here, really simple. It has a magnetic clasp here to hold the lid on. Let's go ahead and open this up and go over the specs while we do that. The retail price for this is $535, and you heard that correctly. The AF7, which has a higher battery capacity, is an additional $60, so that comes out to $595. You might be wondering, why is it so expensive? The reason for that is the amazing build quality and this dual aspheric lens system. They describe this as the world's first, and it results in a really clean beam cutoff that you don't typically see with headlights. It's also really beautifully built, as you can see, so all metal. You have a glass lens here. You have 18 LED design. These are Osram LEDs with a integrated DRL on the edges. Battery-wise, you get the 3.5 amp hour Smart Core battery. And these are really nice as well, so you get a nice Velcro strap. You can check the battery capacity by simply clicking on it with audio and visual cues as well. The AF7, as I mentioned, has double this capacity at 6.9. Inside the box, you'll get a number of features. You get the remote with this set. And again, build quality is really amazing here. You don't really see any plastic. Everything's either metal or really nice rubber texture to it. This is the Bluetooth remote, which has an integrated battery. We get the handlebar mount for that remote. Simply slides through. We get an additional strap here for the battery pack. We get the wall charger. And as you can see, the packaging is really well done. You have all this nice foam cutout. Simple wall charger for a US market. You get stickers, which is always nice to have, as well as a couple tools here. The tools here are for adjusting the tightness of the position here. Now let's take a look at the weight of the Lupine SL. The AF4 battery pack here, which is smaller than the AF7, comes in at 140 grams. The remote with the Pepe version 5 mount comes in at 14 grams. Finally, the headlight with the supplied quick release mount. And that comes in at 118 grams. Now let's take a closer look at the fit and finish of the Lupine SL light. Considering the high price point, you'd certainly expect excellent build quality, and Lupine definitely does not disappoint there. You have a all aluminum housing body here with these fins built in directly. You have two ambient light sensors directly on the back, as well as this SL cutout. And this will actually illuminate when you first plug in the battery. So if I go ahead and plug it in, you can see that illuminates. This also turns on when you have the high beam on, which is a nice feature. Out front, you have the aspherical lens, and this is really one of the big reasons I would really consider buying this light. And it results in a really crisp beam cutoff. So that 1300 lumens is not wasted on the trees above you. Instead, it's on the road with a nice trapezoidal style beam. So a really nice feature and something you don't typically see in headlights. Obviously, it's a lot bulkier than you would have with a compact commuter style light, but it's certainly worth it. You can also see the kind of the lens design here. If I rotate it on camera, you can see the LEDs on the inside, and as I rotate that, they get a little bit warped. So they've really tuned the inside of this lens to fine-tune the actual beam pattern. You also get these DRLs, which is a great feature. So if I turn that on here, you can see they're not flashing, but they're more than bright enough to really draw attention, especially when you're riding in the daytime. The ambient light sensor is also a really nice touch, as it automatically will turn on and off. Handlebar mount out of the box is this one-arm cam design. It's offset as well, which means you can mount it to the left of your stem, wrap the wiring underneath your stem for a really clean installation. It's also tool-free, as you can simply pop this off. They do offer GoPro adapters that would connect here if you want to use your own out-in-front mount. So overall, really impressed with this, and the IP68 rating as well as impact rating means this should outsurvive your bike itself. Also, Lupine offers quite a bit of configuration options with this. I've never seen so many options from a headlight. If you hold the button underneath, if you hold that up to 10 times, you have 10 different configuration options. So you can adjust the delay between day and night mode from the factory 3 seconds to a 16-second delay. And I'd actually recommend that, as I found it flickers back and forth, especially as you go through trees and you're right at that cusp of day and night. You can adjust the light settings. So instead of using the factory 1300 lumens for the high beam and the 850 for the low beam, you can actually use that for both the low and high beam. You can use a lower setting for the high beam and a lower setting for the low beam. You can disable the ambient light sensor if you don't like it and make it a manual mode. That'll make it manual. So if you hold the bottom button down for 2 seconds, that'll activate the DRLs. So now let's take a closer look at the remote. This is another nice feature they've added. Using the handlebar mount, you can simply place this wherever you need it to be for convenient access. To operate the light, you simply press it on once with the big button. From the factory, this is the current factory settings. You would then press the small button to activate the dimmer normal mode, the big button to go in the high beam mode. Here I don't have enough ambient light to trigger the night mode. When night mode is on, this button will back illuminate. It's a cool feature, and also this will go red once the battery is low. Let's take a closer look at the battery pack. Lupine describes this as their smart core battery, and this is the smaller capacity version that comes with the AF4. As you can see, it's really compact, and it has some nice features as well. It has this nice rubber mount here to offset it off your frame and prevent it from marring. I really like this, especially compared to other battery packs which tend to scratch it up. You have a really strong Velcro strap here to hold it to your top tube or wherever else you'd like to mount it. As I mentioned, the connectors are really nice here, which means this should be durable enough and last. This is a hard case as well, so definitely can handle beating. The other thing that's really cool about this is the battery indicator status. So if I do one click, you can hear you get 5 audible beeps that correspond to the 5 LEDs. So this is fully charged. As the battery charge goes lower, the different LEDs will illuminate and the audio cues will also update, which is a really nice feature. I've never seen an audio cue with an external battery pack. It also has 2 additional modes, which are quite cool. So if I do 2 clicks, now you have what they call taillight mode. And this keeps all 5 LEDs illuminated. So you can actually use this as a makeshift taillight. So a nice feature for additional illumination. You press it again to disable that mode. A more interesting mode is also a moving mode. So if I do 1, 2, 3, now I get the Knight Rider style kind of scanning mode. And this is great. Again, you can use this as a taillight for additional illumination, and the moving LEDs will attract additional visibility in the dark. So really cool. So now let's compare the Lupine SL versus some other lights on the market. Although I don't have any other $500 lights, I have 2 Magic Shine lights that I think provide a pretty good comparison. So first, let's compare the SL versus the Magic Shine 906. This has a theoretical output of 5,000 lumens with the 5 Cree LEDs. However, it's more realistically around 3,000 lumens. Now, I think the big difference here is the build quality. Even though you get more lumens on this, you get a plastic housing with the aluminum fins, and you get the less advanced optic system. Instead of this nice beam cutoff, this is more of a mountain bike style, which will throw light everywhere. So you'll light up the trees and the road instead of just the road. And even though Lupine advertises the lumen per dollar, you can clearly get cheaper lights that have a lot more lumens. However, the lumens are just less focused, and the build quality is lower. So as you can see, this nice aluminum housing, you get the beautiful lens and integrated DRLs, which are missing from the Magic Shine 906. The other thing I want to point out is that what I found over time is with some of these battery packs for Magic Shine, they tend to start to disintegrate at the integration points of the battery. So you can see here the insulation start to peel. Eventually this will cause short, so if you hold at a certain angle, it'll short out and won't run. So that's one reason I feel like the Lupine connections are a little more robust and stronger to more day-to-day use. And as I mentioned, you can definitely get high lumens for low dollars. This is a $150 Magic Shine Ulti 2000 with 2000 lumens with their dual LED design. It also has DRLs, but it's missing the ambient light sensor. So that's one drawback. So you can see here with the DRL only, you get a nice OLED screen. Build quality on this is quite nice though. You have the aluminum upper portion. It's quite a bit larger. I actually like external battery packs, as once the battery pack on this dies, you have to buy a different cartridge instead of just plugging in a different external battery pack. But again, I think it's the optics that really set this apart. There's no beam cutoff here, so it really throws light everywhere. Even though it's a commuter style, you have wasted lumens on the ground. So I think the 2000 lumens versus the 1300 lumens here, this almost feels brighter because more of that light is focused. Now let's take a look at the light output from the Lupine SL. What's so impressive about this light is that horizontal beam cutoff, and you can see here in the low beam mode that the beam cutoff is right below eye level and very crisp. You also have a trapezoidal style beam pattern illuminated on the ground with a really wide beam further away from the bike. In the high beam mode, that beam cutoff is raised higher, so you get further distance. However, you shouldn't use this if there's oncoming traffic. What's really striking is if you compare the SL versus a standard light without a beam cutoff, and as you can see, a lot of that light is wasted. You get a more circular beam pattern with a lot of light above the eye level and below, instead of being more focused, so you lose lumens. Now with the Lupine SL, you get 4 different modes. You have a DRL, which is bright enough for daytime use and has 17 hours of runtime. You have a low beam dim mode for 450 lumens and 5 hours. You have a standard low beam mode with 850 lumens. And finally, you have the high beam mode, which puts out the full 1300 lumens. On the road, the SL has a really nice wide beam ahead of the bike. As you can see, it's almost 2 or 3 lanes wide, even in the standard low beam mode. And the high beam mode is really impressive. It really lights up the whole road. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the SL. I really appreciate the premium build quality here. All the components and connection points are really robust. And with that IP68 rating, it can handle wet weather, riding and abuse on or off road. Also, what really sets the light apart is that crisp beam cutoff. They've really done a nice job with the optics of this light. So you can prevent blinding oncoming traffic, yet still have up to 1300 lumens. I'm also always impressed with how many configuration options Lupine provides with their light. By simply holding the button up to 10 times, you can get a variety of configurations, from disabling the ambient light sensor to changing the configuration outputs per mode. Some of the cons for the light is obviously that premium price. At over $500 and nearly $600 for the AF7 version, this light is not intended for everybody, but it's definitely built to last. The other thing is there's limited side-to-side visibility near the light. So as you saw with the riding footage, as you're turning, you tend to turn into a dark patch, whereas a normal light would have a lot of horizontal flooding. Also, this is a fairly large form factor for only 1300 lumens. You can get commuter-style lights that have internal batteries and are a lot more easy to put on and take off your bike. Taking everything into account, I would give the light an 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely an expensive light, but it's really amazing build quality and optics. This is more of a buy it for life type bike light than a cheap bike light for a more entry-level rider. And the optics are really impressive. They'll definitely blow you away with the amount of output and the beam cutoff. Thanks for watching this review. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.